Microsoft, the company that is probably number one on the leaderboard for nearly giving me a heart attack at 20 years old. I can't even begin to count the sheer amount of times I've almost ripped my own glorious hair out from pure rage due to something not working when I've had to use a Microsoft product. I've gone on Microsoft and Xbox rants before on stream, but since they were rants, they ended up sloppy, incoherent, and just an avalanche of cussing and messy words. I therefore want to make a more structurally sound statement on my feelings regarding Microsoft so that if anyone ever asks, I can direct them here. I might also get some comments that agree with what I think, which does tickle the little goblin in my brain just right. And to any Microsoft stans, or as you prefer to be called, Bill Gators, I'm not saying that Microsoft and Xbox objectively suck. I'm just here to say why I personally can't stand them, so feel free to disagree, but please don't kill me. I haven't finished streaming Stardew Valley yet. Link is in the description. So let me begin with why I decided to actually start making this video. The whole reason you're able to watch this video right now is because I tried to play a game called Maneater through Microsoft's service Game Pass. Prior to me deciding to play it, I had just finished studying for that day, and I had an hour and a half of free time before I had to get dinner and then later stream. I wanted to blow off some steam, and it looked like a fun idea to be a shark for a while, but little did I know that Microsoft had decided that I would suffer for the next hour and 30 minutes. When I first started the game, I saw the opening of the company's flashy logo animations, and right before the start menu, it crashed. I wasn't that bothered because most of my newly installed games wouldn't start on the first go, so I hit play again. This time I only saw one company and then again crash. I hit play for the third time and now immediately it crashed. I go, what the fuck, and then I proceed to do a quick Google search. I found no obvious answers, and the one forum I could see with a similar problem had a tech support guy send a link to the basic solutions and other people brilliantly helping with, I have the same problem and my parents no longer pick up the phone when I call.
Got another Jelly Cooper. How you get on with that Udira's wins then? Food is really good.
Shut your fucking mouth!
No problem, Charles.
Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
I decided to try some of the other basic stuff because I'd already restarted the Xbox app and I tried reinstalling the game and repairing it. So I restarted my computer, updated Windows, tried changing the properties of the maneater.exe, but then learned that I wasn't allowed to access the folder with the .exe because it was locked. I tried some more things, look at what the India tech gods have to say, and nothing works. I then have only 30 minutes left and say, fuck it, I won't ever play Maneater then. I uninstall it, give Game Pass the double bird, and then proceed to try and install Death's Door. When I hit the install button, I had roughly 15 minutes left because I spent that other time picking what to play. I figured, fine, I guess I'll just play through the tutorial. But Microsoft kicked me in the gut again and shouted no, because the download was taking forever. Taking forever to fucking start. I waited 5 minutes, nothing, restarted the app, nothing, and then once it started, welp, what do you know, I ran out of time and now I have to leave. I swear, I was so frustrated that I could have punched a hole through solid steel. That or broken my hands severely. Now I don't hit or punch things like a baby shit gamer because I like to keep my things in one piece. So I had to sit there with that rage built up inside me. I absolutely hate that feeling of wanting to explode in a fiery red cloud but not being able to do anything about it. And it was Microsoft that managed to bring me there. And speaking of their tech support, I gotta say that it's the least helpful support that I know of. Not only do they love showing you the forums you've already looked at, but they also love to tell me baby shit like, oh, you're having trouble with the Game Pass? Have you restarted your computer? Maybe reboot router? Like, shut the fuck up. I know that you can't assume that every customer's done that, and I know it's just to make sure so that they can find the solution that'll work, but it feels so fucking patronizing. Not only that, one time a few years ago I tried getting help with an issue I had with my last PC. No forums provided any substantial help, so I decided to try contacting tech support. What then happened was that I spent a good 20 minutes just trying to find the chat option with a real person. When I initially went to their support page, they only had links to their AI assistant, which is an assistant with a capitalized ass. It only links you to forums with similar issues, which clearly didn't help because I'd already looked at those forums. To find Microsoft's support contact info, I had to do several Google searches, and I think how I finally found it was on the second page of Google. So yeah, I went deep into the jungle to get the help. The real slap in the face was that after I found someone to talk to, their solution didn't help. They told me to install an update for Windows, which wasn't automatically detected by my system for whatever reason, and that it should fix my issue. I said okay, and I started downloading the update. The guy helping me then said, "So do you consider the problem solved?" Like, dude, it's like asking a guy that's bleeding out if he feels better after you hand him stitching equipment. I was so tired and fed up after hours of troubleshooting that I said yes. He fucked off with a smile, and the update changed nothing. Does this represent everybody that works at tech support for Microsoft? No, of course not. But it sure did leave a bad taste in my mouth. Also, this might just apply for Europe, but I really don't like how every support technician I've spoken to has had broken English. I'm not saying that everyone needs to have perfect English, but when I'm asking for precise instructions, I don't want to guess if rest widow means restarting Windows or if I should tell the widow across the street to get some rest. Also, there's always these recurring issues I have whenever I use a new Windows computer that aren't really issues that stop you from using your computer, it's just stuff that really annoys me. For example, the fact that they shove the Microsoft Edge browser down your throat when you start when I'd rather slit my own throat with the edge of my sharpest kitchen knife. There's the millions of questions they ask at the start like, can we gather data from your computer to help make our products better? Even though I'm sure they gathered the data anyway because why not? Them trying to get you to try their apps like Office, Word, OneDrive, etc. so that you might end up paying for a subscription in the future. There's also this funny issue I occasionally get where they'll ask me to use a PIN code. A PIN code that I know I haven't set up. How is it even possible for you to ask for something that I don't even have? And as far as major gripes with Microsoft in general goes, that's it. I do also despise their interface whenever I have to log into a Microsoft account or browse their website, etc. It just looks so painfully sterile, and I always feel like I'm one step away from something breaking, and then I have to go through the impossible tech support quest again. But ladies, gentlemen, and all you beautiful people that identify differently, my gripes with Xbox go even further down the miserable dark pit. I've gone from Xbox lover to borderline I want to see Xbox burn through the years, and I do not see a future where they win me over. I loved the Xbox 360 as a kid, it played nicely, gave me lots of good memories, and it was an R2-D2 special edition which made me the coolest kid in school. Amongst those that knew. Which there weren't a lot of because they didn't care to ask and I was too nervous to tell them. I then got the Xbox One and I liked it too. It was, however, here that my love went downhill. My love for gaming got more complex, and the main thing I noticed was that all the really cool games were coming out on PS4 and not Xbox One. Sure, there were some console exclusives, but they were also available on PC, so I was never able to point to a game and go, at least we got blank. Overall though, the experience was solid in my opinion, and I banked a substantial amount of time on that system as well. Then, when the Xbox Series X and PS5 were announced, I figured that I should go with the Xbox since I'd always had an Xbox, but also, I would be able to play all my Xbox One games on my Series X. Well, I did get the Series X, and yeah, I would have been fine without it. Yes, my games loaded faster, performed better, and it actually, yeah, that was about it. At the time, all new games were built to function on Xbox One as well, which meant that I could have played them all there. Not only that, but the interface felt pretty much the same and the controller is so similar that my brother mistook it for an Xbox One controller and borrowed it so that he could play a game with his friend, and that is also how I noticed that the controller is so similar that it even works with the older system, which is actually a really cool thing. The console just felt really unnecessary, and when I looked at what was happening in PS5 Town, with their haptic triggers, exclusive upcoming games, and fun-looking console, I felt cheated. This feeling has let up a little now that I own both consoles, but the Series X still feels pretty useless. And now that you know how my feelings for Xbox went sour, I want to give you more examples of why I dislike Xbox. For one thing, I really wish Xbox had the balls to innovate more like Sony and Nintendo. Sony has been making their controllers have fun features for quite some time, and with the PS5 controller it is so fun. Haptic feedback in the triggers, built-in microphone, touchpad, gyro, and a speaker. Are all these just gimmicks? Yeah, but only because the game devs don't really use these features as much as they could be. For example, I feel like most of the games I've played recently on PS5 haven't really used haptics that much, which is a little sad to me since I find them to be very fun. They don't add that much to the experience, but for instances like chopping ice or wood in God of War Ragnarok, it feels really nice. Sony's also pushing to make VR more mainstream with 2 VR headsets out by now, and the VR2 looks great. Nintendo likes to go all over the place with their controllers and systems, kinda like a guy that's high on cocaine. I mean, just look at the Virtual Boy, N64, GameCube, Wii, and Switch controllers. The Virtual Boy has a bent SNES controller with 2 Squidward noses. The N64 controller looks like it grows on trees and fears monkeys. The GameCube controller looks normal at a first glance, but then you realize that during production, someone accidentally spilled all the buttons on their prototype control grip. By the way, I'm not saying that the button layout is bad, it just looks off. Please don't hunt me down, GameCube fans. The Wii has a TV remote with an attachable tail, which includes a tuner. And finally, the Switch controller can't decide if it wants to be 1 or 2 controllers, so it said, fuck it, I'll be both. These wacky and all over the place decisions keep you on your toes and keep things interesting. Now, am I saying that Xbox should make a controller with a built-in air fryer, or that they should make a controller out of an actual X? No. Or maybe, no, definitely not. I just wish they'd dare to try something new instead of making the same peanut butter jelly sandwich, but with just better peanut butter, jelly, and bread. And I know the last time they tried to invent, they made a worse way to play games, but honestly it wasn't really their fault. The Kinect wasn't as flawed as most people think. The real issue was that the games made by other studios most likely didn't take enough time to understand the Kinect. All games that were proudly featured alongside the Kinect had been tested properly, and therefore they ended up being actually alright. Some of these games include Kinectimals, Kinect Star Wars, Kinect Adventures, and Kinect Sports. Just to be clear though, the Kinect wasn't ever going to be revolutionary, and I'm not even saying it was great when the games worked. I'm just saying that the main issues behind the majority of the Kinect's library not working properly was due to poor development. Also, the false marketing didn't really help. But Xbox did try something new and exciting, and if things turned out a little different, we might have seen more creative concepts coming from Xbox. All we got now is unfortunately just Game Pass. And cloud gaming, which is also available everywhere else. And can they design a console that tries to look a little more exciting? Like, the Series X looks so similar to my kettle that I'm surprised I haven't accidentally tried to pour myself a cup of tea with it yet.
No way, I think I just did.
Well, shit. And can we talk real quick about them acquiring so many fucking studios, making the internet freak out, and then doing nothing with the studios other than throwing money at them? I do not understand why they feel the need to buy like every studio they stumble into. Because if you look at what has happened since they bought the studios, you might actually need to squint to see the difference. For the most part, those studios have been quiet and there's been few announcements. The biggest thing to come out of their studio buying spree has been their Bethesda acquisition. Because of them now owning Todd Howard, all upcoming Bethesda games are most likely being released on Windows and Xbox only, which is just really scummy. Something that I complained about a lot in the past and somewhat still do is that getting an Xbox was useless since there's no good exclusive games, so there's no draw to the console. But this kind of exclusivity is just the worst kind, because now they've just gone and made established and beloved franchises exclusive to their systems, cock-blocking all fans that don't own an Xbox or Windows PC, and all they've got is a PlayStation. Will it perhaps make a substantial amount of people buy an Xbox or Windows PC? Maybe, but they'll do so with a sad look on their face. unless they're poor, because then they'll just reject video games and return to nature. I consider PlayStation's approach to exclusivity much better, and this is due to the fact that all their exclusives had their start and continuation with PlayStation, which means that they don't cuck any defense of the series when they make a new game. Also, for entirely new franchises like Spider-Man, there is no established fan group. Or well, I mean, there's the Spider-Man fans, but as far as for the game itself goes, there's no established fan base yet. And to top it all off, they tend to release the exclusive games to PC after some time. Sure, it isn't exactly a 2-week wait until it becomes available on PC. It isn't even a 20-week wait, but at least the game does sooner or later release on PC, which isn't perfect, but is a step in the right direction. Oh, and to all of you PlayStation gamers that were looking forward to Starfield, consider this a blessing. Like, just fucking look at the trailer for Starfield and tell me it isn't just Fallout but in space. The game is impossibly huge to the point where half of the game will just be filled with planets emptier than my fridge.
It's a green apple.
They try to sell you on features like a character creator that hasn't changed since Fallout 4, a story that seems pretty predictable with a mysterious source of knowledge that'll most likely be an analogy for God, a dinky spaceship that sure is customizable, but all the designs in the trailer look more like space RVs than spaceships, and oh, what's that? There's base building? Wow, I've never seen you guys implement a feature like that before. Anyway, I'm going off track, this is not a Bethesda rant. Oh, and I seem to have just unlocked an achievement for going off the rails. Haha, cool. Yeah, I'm no longer a fan of Xbox achievements. Surprise! I don't even know what happened honestly, because back in the 360 days, I loved them. It felt just like when your dad would say, "Good job, kiddo." Now it just feels like it's your stepdad that you hate, going, "I see you did something there. That's great, sport. Here, have a lollipop." Like, shut the fuck up, Craig Stuffer. You're not my real dad, and the only reason I haven't kicked you in the balls yet is because my mom likes to bang you. So take your lollipop and shove it up your ass. Oh, and why does Microsoft decide to name their consoles like their cars? We went from Xbox to Xbox 360 to Xbox One to Xbox Series X, and that's not even mentioning the special cases like the Xbox One X, which must have confused the shit out of parents, and the Xbox Series S. I seriously think that in 2056, if humanity makes it that far, we'll have the Xbox 5010 3E, and for those that are curious, 3E is the name of the AI that plays the games for you, because AI is apparently supposed to do everything now, so enjoy life while you can, before an AI enjoys it for you. Anti-depression mode not included. Now finally, the thing that's absolutely cost me, my parents, and my brother the most amount of money, why the hell does the Xbox controller still require AA batteries? It is the year 2023. Climate change has had enough and is now putting its foot down, and Xbox has decided that a rechargeable battery pack should be a separate feature. What we really need to do more is mine more lithium. That will surely help the environment, right? According to HypeBeast.com, what the fuck is that name? The AA battery design is there to offer flexibility so that people can choose whether they want to use batteries, the rechargeable battery pack, or a USB-C cable. I, however, say bullshit, because the same article, which is linked down below by the way, also states what I joked about as a kid is actually fact. Xbox is in bed with Duracell. They've literally got some sort of deal going on that, according to Luke Duracell Anderson, needs to go on for a while. I can hear the filthy grin in that comment, and it pisses me off so much. From what I've gathered, rechargeable batteries aren't perfect and they can be more damaging to the climate than a normal disposable battery, but that is only if the rechargeable battery is thrown away after only a few uses. But that's just the thing. Any sane person doesn't throw away a rechargeable battery. They, get this, recharge them. I know, it's a mind-blowing concept, but it's true, so could Microsoft please tell Duracell to sleep on the couch and just make a rechargeable controller the norm? So yeah, I think Microsoft and Xbox sucks, and that they're very bad for my health just in general. Is it objectively the correct opinion? No, of course not. I've mainly just had bad experiences, and when it comes to what I want from a console, Xbox just doesn't fit the bill, whereas it absolutely does for someone else. Now tell me in the comments below of any bad experiences you might have had with Microsoft or Xbox, because I would love to feel like I'm not the only one that's cursed by Gil Bates. And with that said, I hope you all have a good evening, morning, day, night, whatever it might be, wherever you might be, and I hope to see you all some other time.